Welcome to NextGen Tech Talk. We have Manish with us in this episode, and we have beautiful background. See the trees around, and maybe AI is mostly man-made, or we can say AI has been man-made. However, you can see the nature. It has its own learning, adoption, and evolve nature. The way we can relate to the machine learning and AI as well, that things get evolved over the period. So, welcome, Manish. Welcome to the Next Gen Tech Talk. And what do you think? Like, do you connect with the nature very often?
Yes, I do actually. So I come from very similar to the background you have. My
Oh, no, wow.
hometown is near Ayodhya, and my village had a lot of trees, and I grew up there. I completed my early
Nice.
education there, so I really love nature.
Cool, cool. So, isn't it very similar things, as I mentioned, Manish, that uh, AI has its own, journey, right?
Yes.
The way we see the AI and ML, specifically the machine learning, this is something which is completely man-made, as I've already mentioned. But once we try to relate with the nature, so nature has its own journey, correct? So, Manish, to start with, can you talk about a little bit about yourself, like how you started your journey as a ML engineer and what inspired you?
Yeah. So it goes back to, I guess, class 12th when we are all doing, everyone was preparing for IIT JEE mains in advance. And I
Hmm.
also prepared, and I qualified advanced, but my ranking was around 18,000, so I did not get any colleges. And then I decided to start graduation from BHU. So I
Hmm.
did the entrance exam, and I got the subject combination that was considered very good back in the day: statistics, mathematics, and computer science.
Hmm.
And I started my journey in computer science from there only. Then I did my master's, and in while doing my graduation, I had plans to go to the statistics route, but then
Hmm.
COVID came and everybody was like, you could see the word that people who were doing jobs related to IT sector were doing fine because work from home and other things were available for them, that they did not need to be in the office to do the job. So
Hmm.
that kind of shaped our mentality that, yeah, this is the way to go moving forward, that you don't know when you can like you will be able to go to the office and like do a proper job where it requires your presence. Whereas
Hmm.
in software development and computer science, you can do it from home. And then by the time I did my final semester of masters, I chose a project. Basically, in the in BHU or in any other, I guess in masters, it is in general required for you to do a project that is close to a research paper, but not exactly. Like
Hmm.
they give you something. What happened in BHU as they gave you a research paper. They told you that this is a thing that people are researching.
Hmm.
Let's try to do something similar or do this better. So we
Hmm.
started to do a project where we were working with genetic algorithm. So basically, the best chromosome which has better results will get selected and then will get paired with another and evolving into a better solution. So we
Right.
did a project based on it, which required us to take a, let's say, a very big data set that has
Hmm.
thousands of rows of data,
Hmm.
and you mark every row with one or zeros depending on which one are you selecting. So it's just binary selection, one for selection, zero for rejection, right? Then
Hmm.
now you get a very long string of one and zeros. Then you take those strings, apply genetic algorithms on it, and whatever combination that comes from that algorithm, you test that data set on that algorithm, on that outcome. Basically, whatever the string came, take those data rows and then
Hmm.
learn your model on it and see how close it is to the ideal like outcome. So it
Hmm.
was a very small experiment that we ran, and we had a data set of about 600 rows, and we tried it on it, and Other people have done way more research on it, and it turned out to be very good at it. But we did not uh, make publish a paper on it because the time was very less for us. But
Mm-hmm.
since then, I got interested in trying like things on data sets. And initially, I was leaning more towards data analysis. Then, as the time went on, and since GenAI came, it became really apparent that analysis is not that important. Building
Mm-hmm.
systems that can do data analysis for you is more
Mm-hmm.
important. So that's
That's
how I
correct.
came into machine learning and data engineering sort of uh, m- work area. And after starting with that, I slowly transitioned into AI engineering. So that's
Cool.
my
Cool.
journey.
Excellent. Uh, Thank you, Manish, sharing your thought, your journey, how you have started, and all. Definitely, I must say that this inspired a lot of developers, whether they are starting their journey or maybe they are going to transit from other domain to the ML journey, right? So what now that is the older days when you have started your journey, Manish. Now since you are grown up and you have quite experience now, so how you are dealing with the ecosystem, like because you are maybe interacting with your leaders and doing the solution. So according to you, is there any biasness in the ML development, or you think that basically my question is around like, is this easy to get the things done using the ML? Any observation which you can share with us?
Um, Traditional ML or the current Gen AI machine learning, people mix up these two quite often. So back then, automation was a thing. Like people
Hmm.
use traditional ML, small voice models to do automated
Right.
messages and whatnot. It was
Correct.
definitely useful back then, but it did not do things the way current systems do, right? Like
Right.
uh, for example, these days
Hmm.
when we work with small APIs that are not meant to handle that much load, you
Right.
can get a fast API working in like 2 minutes.
Mm.
Right? Back then it used to be a huge task, but now these days you can just get it working in 2-3 minutes because we have access to tools that can make APIs and basic data structures very quickly. So that has
Right.
accelerated things a lot, such as it has accelerated things where proof of concept is needed. But
Right.
production systems are still taking time because then you have to think about the structure to scale it for volume and scale it for stability and whatnot. And there the work experience comes into play because simply just prompting a model to do it's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, you are completely right, Manish. Like this is what you even whenever in the previous episode interacting with different developers, like they have the similar understanding,
Mhm.
and as you have mentioned, this is correct that we sometime mix the things, and that is leading to the problem statement, another problem statement. Now one is the development, Manish. Now according to you, what fails during the deployment? Have you experienced any failure or complications during the deployment?
So I haven't done much deployments from my like on my own because my
Okay.
most of the time I'm fixing the backend bugs. So the
Hmm.
deployment teams do their own thing, but most of the times we get these issues that this package that you have used is not compatible with the kind of system we have in place. So we need to rewrite some things, we need to redesign some things, not use this package and whatnot. Like Python may mainly Python. I use mainly Python, so that's the most common issue that I get back to me. Like during deployment, this package did not work properly. So do we have any alternatives, or do we need to rewrite the function and whatnot? The deployment hasn't been my forte yet.
Okay. So you are not at all involved into deployment, but any point of time they have reported or maybe shared their experience, what type of struggle they have during the deployment or maybe post deployment. because
The,
anyways we work in a team, right?
yeah.
So you may have some bounce back saying that okay, you need to fix this because this is creating problem and stuff like that.
Yeah, so most common issue that that comes on top of my mind. So basically, we are designing voice-to-voice systems. As
Okay.
and in these systems, a lot of times the calls get cut abruptly. Like call dropping is an issue in general, and when
Mm-hmm.
that happens, and the session that the session that we manage, it sometimes gets stuck when the call drops abruptly, and that's what we call a
Okay.
dangling room. And
uh
that becomes most times that became a pain for our deployment team, because when these rooms kept piling up, at a certain
mm-hmm.
point they would take the whole system down, because this was a problem. Then we had
Mm.
to uh, work around this problem to do a graceful shutdown in case of someone disconnected abruptly. So these kind of problems came, but they mostly came after the system was deployed and it ran for some time and things kept piling up, and then they came, okay, this is not
Mm.
working, we need to fix this. Or somewhere, let's say, somewhere a memory leak was there, that the space was occupied but not released properly because the code was not optimized. And in that case, they'd come back to us and say, okay, fix this because you are taking up a lot of memory and our container is going down because of it. So these
Mm.
two, three issues have came, but not very often. It's one-off cases.
Okay. 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 So in your experience, like if I may ask, what is the major source of your learning? Because this industry is growing very fast. Every day we are implementing new things, consuming new tools, technologies, and all this stuff. So for you, what is the major source for your learning?
Um, I personally prefer reading materials, like wherever I can
Mm-hmm.
get some documentation about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And because having the documentation from the people that have created the system is much more knowledgeable than us trying to figure it out from outside sources. So I prefer having the documentation, and usually I'll go through a documentation first, see the components, but to dive deeper, I always use something like Perplexity. Perplexity is a very good research tool. You just
Mm-hmm.
give it a link and then you ask questions about it, and it gives the information. Like it can go deep and get information that you want. So I rely mostly on documentation, and then deeper search with these search engines such as Perplexity and sometimes ChatGPT as well. But other mediums as well. Like sometimes I do some courses that in the start when we were working with text workflows, I did a course
Mm-hmm.
for LangChain and then LangGraph. So
Okay.
yeah, but I prefer reading materials, not videos.
Yeah. So I was about to say that I love your approach,
Mm,
like reading materials, documentation, because see, over the period, we are like we all are in hurry, right?
mm,
We think that we can fix the things immediately, and this comes from the business itself, right?
yes,
So the point is, whenever you do any things in hurry, then there is a problem, because half cooked information. So you have prompted something, you have built something, but you don't have the overall understanding of the entire ecosystem, right? Or the architecture of the platform. Then definitely you are going to get some of the other issues in the real time scenarios, right? So this is, even I coach my team, and many times I have learned that once you have entire understanding, or sometime even you don't have the entire understanding, if you are gradually approaching towards the solution, so definitely that gives a different level of outcome,
yeah,
isn't it?
definitely. Documentation
Right.
is the key. Uh, the one common mistake I see my juniors making is
Mm.
anytime they're presented with a problem, their first instinct is to ask ChatGPT.
Yes.
That has
Yes.
become a very common problem, and I, I I I think I used to do it as well when ChatGPT initially came. So
You can continue from there. Yeah.
yeah, initially it used to be a problem with me as well when I used to
Mm.
rely on
Mm.
ChatGPT a lot. But
Mm.
nowadays I prefer to go through the documentation first, because I have learned from my mistake that ChatGPT cannot. always give you the right answers. So that's why.
Yeah, I can connect with that. Like even see, even non-tech, any type of users, they are utilizing, uh, generative AI in all means. I can say that any tools they use to prompt and they get the answer, and they are very excited that they have everything in hand, right? But that is not the correct approach. Sometimes you may get success in the short term goal, but definitely for the long term goal you need to be very thoughtful. And human is definitely top of this all AI buzz, because they are the real thinker. AI cannot think for you, and AI cannot replace human, right?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
As far so the current capabilities of AI, see, I cannot comment it from the point of view of transformers, like how much capable they can be in theory. But
Mm,
with the current models I have interacted, like say the most capable model, Opus 4.6 till this date,
mm,
coding,
right.
I have interacted with it a lot, and it is very much capable, but it will never be fully autonomous because fully autonomous systems are something that you can rely on, right? Right
Correct.
now, the world is not ready to put responsibility on an AI, which in its uh, terms and conditions says that I am not to rely on me because
Mm,
I'm not a human. I can make mistakes. So as long as there
absolutely.
is no accountability for something, I don't think people will adopt to it, and I don't think it will replace humans. You need someone that can take responsibility and be accountable for things, and because of that, I think humans will always be in the system.
Yeah. It's very nice to hear you like this, Manish, that you have so clear thoughts around the AI and the today's technology, that accountability and ownership definitely lies with human, who all are using the AI tool and any sort of development. So in that means, I think we should more focus on in this area, and definitely we can do the good job, right?
Yeah, I mean, in my experience as well, I don't code all the time. Like nowadays, nobody codes. Most of the
Absolutely.
people rely on Claude and other other
Yeah,
different
yeah,
models, Sir Claude, whatever.
exactly.
But
Mm,
when you have written a service and you have deployed it on the production, when the service goes down, they don't go and call Claude that you need to fix that service. They call me that you need to take a look in it. Why did it
mm,
go wrong? How can we fix
yeah.
it? So that became kind of my learning point that yes, it is not easy to replace a human because
Mm,
one that we see it all the time that one senior developer with Claude or Cursor can do as much work as one senior developer and five junior developer. But can that senior developer keep track of five different services and be accountable for it at the same time? That became a different problem, right?
question. Yeah, yeah,
In your work,
absolutely.
you might have seen this that having juniors in your team that are working on small services, it's definitely easier that you can ask what's the status of this service, how far we have come, how stable it is. Who are you
Hmm.
going to ask when everything is done with AI? That then you become the person that is answering everything, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
And
Yeah. This is the real scenarios which you have
yes,
just stated. Yeah, this is the real scenario. Um, Manish, anything which you want to recommend to the developers who are approaching or heading to the industry, if they want to go for AI and ML engineer? And also maybe you can cover, or you can share your thought that how any recommendation for developer who want to transit from the current development set of development to the AI ML development.
it's always that one simple advice that do not skip the basics. Start with the
Mm,
basics. Learn, like say if someone is from working from Java background and they want to transition, uh,
mm,
I'd say just like learn from the basics. It's there are similarities from Java to let's say Python, but I
mm,
would still say that go through it like from bottom to top approach because most I see most of the people just jumping in then and they are going into like I can write a prompt and it will do the thing for me. That will not
that's correct.
help you if you
Yeah.
don't look into the things properly. Like And someone starting from scratch, they should definitely not skip on DSA and other things, because those problems are meant to teach you pattern recognition and problem solving. You cannot skip
Mhm.
those, the whole thing, and then jump to AI. Do not just skip everything and start prompting on a little piece of code. That's not the way. It will never lead you somewhere that where you can solve real problems, because when you are deploying systems on production, then and it's something small that is eating up a memory or something, you
Mhm.
need to have the core knowledge of your coding language, Python for my
Right.
example, to debug
Right.
that problem from inside and then find out why it is going wrong. So you cannot skip
Mm.
on the basics. Always
Correct.
start from the basics and then go for gradually for the cool thing that we people are doing. I mean, AI definitely sounds cool, but once you start to see the problems that happen in production, then it becomes very clear that language is very much required to understand the language.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. So you have rightly mentioned, Manish, that the way nature maintain itself, right? Uh, okay, we human. So when we are saying that AI plus human and nature plus AI, it works similar, right? We need to understand that how we should keep healthy, or maybe I want to say that how we can make our nature healthy around us. Similarly, we need to think about the AI as well. If we do all the due diligence related to the data security and the uses of the tool and technology, definitely we are on the right track, similar to
Yep.
what we treat for the nature, correct? And that's why today's episode was mostly dedicated to the nature and try to resembles the our world of AI and ML. So it's nice talking to you, Manish. It's a nice conversation. I believe that viewers must got some ideas what we are talking about, and this is the basic thought behind next gen tech talk, that we are bringing both human and AI. It's not like one we are talking about all AI stuff and solving the problem. Definitely this problem can be solved using the AI, but the basic thinking, our thought process and accountability responsibility remains with us. So this is the message which we always give via Next Gen Tech Talk, and we'll keep doing that. Thank you,
Yes.
Manish. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was invited, and I really like talking to you, and definitely like the whole natural vibe. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. See you soon. And viewers, just watch the full episode. Definitely, you will learn something. And if you have any further queries, any comments, do so over the LinkedIn and YouTube. Bye bye.